needs to be said. I can relate to that young lady, and I felt for her. Mm-hmm. I know what it's like to be hated. Mm. I know what it's like to be a Black woman and hated because of my color.
Yeah. Now, what I would love Caitlyn to do is get up one time and then just slap the...
Picture this. A WNBA legend watches a young superstar get ganged up on and finally decides she's had enough of staying quiet. That's exactly what happened when Cheryl Miller broke her silence on Brittney Griner's treatment of Caitlin Clark. And honestly, her words hit like a thunderbolt. Quick question before we dive in. Have you ever seen a player get targeted game after game, the way Caitlin Clark has been? Because Cheryl Miller has. And what she saw on that court completely changed how she looks at today's WNBA. Here's the thing that makes this whole story so wild. Cheryl Miller isn't just some random critic. Back in the early 80s, she was the league's best player. Opponents couldn't outplay her basketball brain, so they tried to rough her up instead. Sound familiar? But Miller drew one sharp line. She knows the difference between rough, physical, championship-level basketball and what she watched happen to Caitlin Clark. Her exact words: "It was the most cowardly thing she's seen on a court in decades." Yeah, you heard that right. If this story's got you hooked, drop a like and hit subscribe. Over 90% of you watching haven't yet, and it costs nothing but a second of your time. Done. Awesome. Let's get back into it.
Clip. After she made a foul play, Griner appears to mouth something rather controversial. It might be, though we don't know, trash and possibly fucking white girl. Others have suggested it might be trash and fucking whack call. We don't know what she's mouthing, but she seems to, have a mouth on her and not exactly be in the gratitude space. Griner herself hasn't commented. Now, why is that? If you were being accused of making racist statements, I think you'd want to clear that up quickly. You'd race to the cameras and put out a statement on X to say, I said fucking whack call.
The moment Cheryl Miller actually watched the replay of Griner shoving Clark, her reaction was instant, and it wasn't pretty. Even someone with Miller's tough-as-nails background looked at that clip and said, "This isn't basketball. This crosses a line." Now here's what really got people talking. Griner's name is taking a hit right now because of what Miller said next. Before we go further, Miller brought up something a lot of fans have quietly noticed for a while, but nobody with her kind of legendary status ever said it out loud. Sneaking in a hit when a player's back is turned and they can't see it coming. That's not defense. That's not toughness. Miller herself played in one of the most physical eras the sport has ever seen, and even she draws a hard line here. Real competitors face you. They don't wait for your blind spot. That's the part that bothered her the most. But it gets worse for Griner's image. What really set Miller off wasn't even the shove. It was what came after. No apology. No accountability. Instead, Griner played the victim, basically saying she can't win either way with the fans and the media. And that response, it made Miller even angrier. Because in her eyes, the true greats, the legends of this game, own their mistakes, especially when their actions put another player at risk. Watching Griner dodge blame reminded Miller of something else entirely. Players who know, deep down, they can't hang with the best. So they find other ways to make an impact. Cheap ways. Translation. Miller basically called Griner a player who leans on dirty tactics because the skill gap is just too big to close honestly. Now here's where it gets really interesting. Miller didn't stop at criticizing Griner. She turned her attention to what makes Clark so special in the first place. According to Miller, Clark has that rare package: elite basketball IQ, clutch shooting nobody can teach, and the gift of making every teammate around her better. It's the exact same formula that made Miller herself a legend. But that's also what worries her. Instead of just focusing on her game, Clark constantly has to keep one eye open for cheap shots. And Miller says that's exactly the problem with how some players are approaching her. They're not trying to outplay Clark. They're trying to take her out. That, Miller says, is the ugliest version of competition there is. And that's why this comment from Miller has the entire basketball world buzzing. She compared Clark's situation to her own battles with rough play back in the day, but then added something that puts it all in perspective. Clark is only 22, and she's dealing with more pressure and more targeting than most players face in an entire career, all while being the face of the whole league.
you could bring your laptop and relax, maybe even get a little work done. But now, it's like there's large gatherings of people watching us from the stands. Some of them are yelling crazy shit about what they're seeing, putting unfair pressure on us to score, like we're there for their entertainment. You are! The whole thing is toxic. I saw a guy with his daughter in the crowd, both of them yelling, couldn't hear what they were saying exactly, but it was either my performance or some light racism.
Here's the part that's really blowing up online. Cheryl Miller's warning about what Griner's future in the league could look like. And once you hear it, it's hard to shake off. Miller's point was simple but sharp. If the WNBA lets players like Griner target its biggest stars with zero consequences, it sends a dangerous message. It tells struggling players they don't need to improve their game. They just need to play dirty to stay in the spotlight. And that, Miller says, punishes the exact players who are actually pushing the league forward. She went even further, saying the league is basically failing its youngest fans. Kids watching at home shouldn't be learning how to target the weakest link on the floor. They should be learning skill, hard work, and respect for the game. But here's the part of Miller's comments that really stood out. Her take on where Clark goes from here. Despite everything thrown at her, Miller believes Clark is only getting stronger. Every rough play, every cheap shot, every attempt to rattle her, it's fuel. It's pushing her to prove herself through pure skill, not payback. Miller even connected it to her own rookie year, when opponents tested her physically over and over just to see if she'd crack. The difference now, Clark isn't just dealing with rough play. She's doing it under a level of media pressure and expectation no rookie has ever faced before, as the most marketable name the league has ever had. And that's really why Miller's support means so much here. This isn't just one legend backing a talented rookie. It's about protecting what basketball is supposed to be. Miller sees in Clark everything the game should stand for: skill, vision, class, competitiveness. And in players like Griner, she sees everything that threatens to chip away at it. Miller's bottom line: the WNBA is standing at a crossroads. Either they keep letting shortcuts and cheap shots slide, or they start protecting their best players and let them lift the whole league up. So now the real question is, will the WNBA actually listen? Or will this keep happening? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Is Miller being too harsh? Or is she saying what everyone's been thinking? And do you think the league finally steps in to protect Clark? I read every comment, so don't hold back. And if you want more basketball breakdowns that cut through the noise, hit subscribe and turn on notifications. This story is far from over.
Watching Caitlin getting attacked. If the league doesn't step up and protect her, things are going to get ugly real fast.
Here's something that's impossible to ignore anymore. This story stopped being about one shove, one hard foul, or one heated moment a long time ago. What we're actually watching unfold is bigger than that. It's about the future of women's basketball, the standards this league is willing to fight for, and how it treats its brightest stars when the whole world is watching. And right now, no player carries more weight on her shoulders than Caitlin Clark. Think about the pressure for a second. Millions of eyes on every single game. Every move she makes gets picked apart, replayed, and debated. Score a big shot, and it's everywhere. Have an off night, and that's everywhere too. That's simply the reality of being the biggest name in basketball today. But here's the other side of this story. While all that attention is on Clark, the league is still full of veteran players. Women who've spent years building toughness, pride, and grit game after game. They didn't get here by accident, and they're not backing down from anyone. So the real challenge for the WNBA right now is figuring out how to let that fierce competition stay fierce, without letting it cross into something dangerous or unnecessary. Because fans want intensity. They want real rivalries. They want basketball that means something. But they also want fairness. They want respect for the players. They want a league that feels stable, not chaotic. This is exactly why Cheryl Miller's comments hit as hard as they did. This isn't some outsider talking. Miller played through some of the most physical, brutal basketball this sport has ever seen. She knows what real toughness looks like from the inside. So when she speaks up, it's not about softness. It's about protecting the soul of the game. Her whole point wasn't make basketball easier. It was make sure skill stays the story, not controversy. Now, whether you agree with everything Miller said or think she's overreacting, one thing's undeniable: people are talking. Everywhere. Fans, analysts, former players, media personalities, everyone's got an opinion. Should referees be calling things tighter? Should the league be handing out harsher penalties? Or is this simply the price of playing at the highest level of professional basketball? Honestly, ask 10 people and you'll get 10 different answers. But through all of this noise, one thing has stayed completely consistent: Clark's response. She hasn't let any of it pull her focus. Not the physical play, not the criticism, not the endless debate swirling around her name. She just keeps showing up, keeps playing, and keeps proving exactly why so many people believe she's the future of this sport. That's the thing that keeps her fans locked in: her refusal to let outside noise change who she is on the court. And look at what's happening around her because of it. The WNBA is getting more attention right now than maybe ever before. Conversations online are exploding by the day. Arenas that used to have empty seats are now selling out. TV ratings keep climbing higher. And there's a whole new wave of fans discovering women's basketball for the very first time. That's the part people forget. Moments like this, the shove, the reaction, the backlash, they don't just affect two players or two teams. They shape how the entire league is perceived by the rest of the world. Every headline, every clip that goes viral, every hot take, it's all writing the story of how basketball fans everywhere see the WNBA right now. And as the season keeps rolling on, the stakes just keep climbing. Every single game Clark plays is going to be watched under a microscope. Every physical play will get slowed down, zoomed in, and picked apart frame by frame. Every referee's call will be questioned by somebody. And every single one of these moments is adding another page to what's already shaping up to be one of the most talked about seasons women's basketball has ever seen. So now it comes down to you. Do you think Cheryl Miller nailed exactly what's happening in this league right now? Or do you think this whole thing has been blown way out of proportion? Do you believe the WNBA is doing enough to protect its stars while still letting real, physical basketball happen? And most importantly, where do you think this all leads for Clark, for Griner, and for the league as a whole moving forward? I genuinely want to know what you think. Basketball fans everywhere have opinions on this, and yours matters just as much as anyone else's. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. This only works because of honest, respectful conversation, and who knows, your take might end up featured in a future breakdown. Because this story isn't close to finished. Basketball history is being written in real time, night after night, and the next chapter could end up being even bigger than this one. So here's what you need to do right now. Hit that subscribe button, because trust me, you don't want to be scrolling through your feed later wondering how you missed this. Turn on notifications too, so the second something new drops, you're the first one to know, not the last. Drop a comment with your honest take, and I mean it. Agree with LeBron, disagree with him, call the whole thing overblown. It really doesn't matter. What matters is you show up and say what you actually think, because that's what keeps this community real. And if this breakdown made you stop and think, even for a second, do one more thing. Send it to another basketball fan. Somebody who's been arguing about this exact topic. Somebody who loves the WNBA. Somebody who respects what LeBron brings to the game. Let them see this too, because conversations like this one are better when more people are part of them. Here's the truth though. This story is far from over. What we're seeing right now with Caitlin Clark, with Brittney Griner, with LeBron stepping in the way he did, this is just the beginning of something much bigger. The biggest moments in this sport, the ones people are still going to be talking about years from now, they're only just getting started. And you don't want to catch this story halfway through. You want to be here from the start, watching it unfold in real time, right alongside everyone else who's paying attention. So stay close, stay locked in, because whatever comes next, you're going to want to be here for it.